To give us more insights, we are now joined by retired Captain Alok Bansal, Director, India Foundation and Naval Expert. Welcome to the broadcast, Mr. Alok. Maldives President Muizzu's party has lost the mayoral elections in Male. I would like to ask you, are the results a reflection of the recent outbursts of his party members against India?
See, firstly, we need to be very clear. Male is very, very significant as far as Maldives is concerned. Almost 1/3 of the electorates actually reside in the capital city, Male. That's where bulk of the activities take place, bulk of the political movements start. And in fact, when President Muizzu won the election, he had won overwhelmingly in Male. In fact, he was the mayor of Male, and that's the position which propelled him to presidency. Now, within 58 days, losing a place which he was occupying, losing a seat which he was occupying for a long time, shows that people are disillusioned with his policies. And I think during this particular period, this 2 months, I think his policies have put Maldives on a confrontational mode with India. And Maldivian population, by and large, depend on India for their extra needs of health, education, even tourism and other requirements. They have been dependent on India. And they have good memories of India helping them in times of crisis, be it shortage of drinking water, be it attempted takeover by militant groups from outside the country. They have invariably been supported by India, and India has maintained its support consistently. It has not tried to interfere anywhere in the internal politics of Maldives, but has provided succor to population whenever they have been in crisis, be it tsunami or be it any other crisis, even after that when drinking water shortage was there.
Right. As you rightly pointed out, the candidate of the pro-India opposition Maldives Democratic Party won the elections. Do you think that amid the diplomatic tensions with India and tourism businesses taking a beating after the comments made by the members of his party, is there a wave of resentment against Muizzu's party?
See, tourism is very critical. We need to understand that in Maldives' case, bulk of their foreign exchange reserves come from tourism. Tourists actually employ a large chunk of the provide revenues for the government. And tourism has been a very, very significant sector. And Indian tourists were the largest in recent times. And Indian tourists cancelling their visits to Maldives is going to be a big setback to the economy. President Muizzu, during his visit to China, has actually requested China to enhance the number of tourists to Maldives. But one must understand, one can't go against the diktats of geography. India is just next door. China is very, very far off. And Chinese tourists will have to spend a considerably large amount to reach Maldives. Whereas Indian tourists, it was the cost of going to Maldives was much lesser. So it was much easier for Indian tourists to visit Maldives, and it was actually a favorite destination for the rich and famous in India to visit Maldives. And now with these cancellations coming up, I think the tourism business is going to be affected. And that would have put immense pressure on the people who are directly or indirectly dependent on tourism. And consequently, we are seeing an implication. We are seeing the fall of President Muizzu in Male.
Right. We have seen tourism businesses being hit after Muizzu's party members, in fact, made those statements. We have seen many of the Indians boycotting Male right now, and they have withdrawn most of their bookings. But I'd also like to ask you another question. Also, currently we're looking at March 15th as the deadline for Indian troops to be withdrawn from the island nation. How is this being seen by India at this point of time? Because what we're learning right now is that Indian officials are currently at the foreign ministry in Maldives at this point in time. Is this the work of China in the making? Because we had seen a state visit recently by Muizzu to China.
See, President Muizzu, during his electioneering itself, had made an anti-India rhetoric, and I think he had made this a campaign promise that he will ask Indian troops to go back. We need to be very clear that there are no Indian troops. There are just about 88 Indian defense personnel who are actually there to maintain surveillance radars and aircraft that have been given by India to Maldives. This is essential because Maldives is a very, very small country, tiny country with a huge exclusive economic zone. Its maritime zones are is so large that it is virtually impossible. It is physically impossible for Maldives to keep them under surveillance. And there was a time when there were pirates who had actually started moving into Maldives. This had become a favorite place for non-state actors scouting for safe havens. And that's when I think India provided this support to the Maldives. And I think these people have been there trying to support and help Maldivians keep their areas under surveillance. Now that President Muizzu had asked them to be withdrawn by March 15th, I'm sure Government of India would be negotiating and telling them what are going to be the implications of withdrawing them. Let's see how it pans out, what are the discussions go on. Because if these people are withdrawn, there will be a serious compromise to Maldives security. But it will not only be a compromise to Maldives security, but it could pose a threat to the regional security as well, because so many uninhabited islands which could become safe havens for non-state groups which may want to launch terrorist attacks on countries of the region from that particular area.
Retired Captain Alok Bansal, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast to give us your insight on this matter.
Thank you.